I was the teacher, I was the mum, I was the cook, I was the therapist, I was the cleaner, the personal shopper, the examiner, the school secretary, all before lunch. And yes, I sometimes let them have crisps for breakfast. I let them have crisps. Sorry. Sometimes I'd have like cake for breakfast, but yeah, we survived, you know what I mean? We got through it. But
Spoke about atoms.
Food otherwise.
Year 2014.
alright, so if you're new to my channel, I've officially stepped into life after home education. I no longer home educate my children, but I home educated them for 10 years, and now I've finished that journey. And I've got lots of videos on my channel that kind of talk about my journey, and it shows you a little bit, it kind of invites you into our home and you get to see my children in action and things like that. But yeah, here are the 5 things that I miss about home education. Number 1 would be quality time with my kids. Now, I still have quality time with my children. I still speak to them on a one-on-one. My older boy, he's 22. We have a lot of time with the phone together. Phone talk is a bit different. I'm kind of learning to navigate around the phone conversations more than just seeing him face to face. I have a really good phone relationship with my second son because we're on the phone quite a lot anyway, and he also lives at home. And then my daughter, I don't really have phone talks with her. We just kind of have our life within the home. And I say that because obviously talking to children on the phone is very different from seeing them on a day to day, and I feel like that's some new stage that I'm kind of heading into and learning how to navigate around that. And it's kind of reminding me of my own parents and seeing how much I talk to them on the phone and how much more I need to be present with them as well. But I would say there's something special about having that day-to-day rhythm with your kids every day and having that quality time with them. Now, I know many people will disagree with that, and they'll be like, during the COVID period, a lot of them were like, oh my gosh, please, I can't handle having my kids around me anymore. But I quite like having my kids around. I like having that quality time with them, but I do quite like being on my own as well. I feel like when I'm on my own, I'm happy with the kids, I'm happy by myself as well, and I just like always can keep myself busy. I've always got lots of things I need to do. But I do remember when we were home educated that we had that routine. There was like lots of laughter in the house. It was like that little parenting mode of like having the home that feels really warm and very hearty. And it still has that because obviously I'm still at home with the children, but it's different now because obviously I'm working outside of the house now, whereas before I used to work within the house, and we were just together like a lot of the time. And then even when they went to their dad's house, like this every second week, every other weekend they'd go to their dad's house, it still was okay because I had my own time then. And I also spent some time like doing a lot of housework and just kind of cleaning, catch up on my laundry and things like that. But I think quality time with my kids is one thing that I miss about home education. Yeah, they're a lot more older and a lot more independent. And sometimes I just feel like, okay, well, what do I do now? It's just hard to kind of know what they're doing in their lives. So my daughter's obviously in sixth form now, but she's older. It's not the same as like having a child who is younger. So she just kind of does her work, and sometimes the school will message me and I just forget what the school has said. I don't really take it so seriously sometimes. And she reminds me, Mum, I've got a trip that I've got to go to. I'm like, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. And I kind of just give her the money that she needs for a trip, or I just check the email, but she's got access to my email account, so she kind of just like checks the emails herself sometimes. But I feel like I just have to always remember to kind of still be engaged in her life, just recognize that she's still young and she's still like needs her parent around, and I'm always like just checking in on her to make sure she's okay. But I do miss that quality time. I do miss kind of being more embedded in their lives, just knowing everything about them, basically. It's literally, it's like missing, but not missing where it's like I want to go back. I'm quite happy that I'm at the end of that journey now, that we've done that season already. Number 2, I guess it leads on from the second one, from the first one I just mentioned, and that's about the freedom to shape their education and watching them learning in real time. So I miss being able to stop mid-lesson and go outside with them, or dive into a topic that they loved, or watching their learning, or listening to them read out loud, and just kind of being engaged in what it was that they were doing. I could just go across to the dining room table and just check out what they were learning, and while I'm cooking my food, they'll be there in the background talking, laughing, playing together. So it's more like the way the house felt is very different, because now obviously my daughter's at school from 7 in the morning till 5 o'clock 5 days a week. Same for me. So I'm at work from like 6. I leave the house at 6:50 in the morning. I get back at about 5 o'clock as well. So we kind of get back at the same sort of time. So when I see her now, I'm back to the mode that I didn't like when she was younger, where it's like now it's about her doing her homework or just having a meal, going to bed, and then maybe we do something good at the weekends. So I'm kind of back into that system there where I preferred the freedom to shape her education, to kind of know what is it you want to do today, and I could plan it out, and I could plan my days based on what it is that they wanted to do. Same for my sons as well. I do talk about my daughter a lot more because she was homeschooled the longest, and obviously she was by herself at one point with just me and her, like home educating her. Watching them learning real time, I think those things I miss, and seeing it. Obviously I know that they're learning and they're still doing different things now, but they're older now, so it's very, very different. So I think parenting, obviously you don't really stop parenting, but in terms of parenting young children, that stage is kind of past, really. And I do find myself missing those moments, but I tend to watch videos with them and just kind of look at old memories with them every now and again, and it's still quite nice because they're still around, they're still here. But whereas Tiago, I look at him, I'm saying, okay, you're not the same as the little boy that you were when you were younger. it's just a mystery, like how you're now still Tiago, but you look so different, you sound so different, but you're still my baby at the same time. My big boy, but you know what I mean. Number 3 will be teaching through faith, having the autonomy just to teach my kids about Jesus with no one stopping me.
Don't get excited because your friends are out.
With no one stopping me, and just know to teach in a natural way for our day. And there he is over there. Come say hello to the camera. I thought you lot left.
Hello, Cam.
How come you haven't left yet?
About to leave, I was looking for my jacket. So I look good though.
You look good, you look good. Smell nice.
Smell good, yeah?
Is Malaya in the car?
She will be saying.
Okay. Say hi to the camera. This video is about the 5 things I miss about home education and the 5 things I don't miss.
You put it there.
I'll have to look over there.
Fair enough.
Say hi.
Hello.
Yes, I was saying about teaching through faith and just having the freedom to just talk about Jesus and not have to worry about anything. Obviously now I work in a school and I'm teaching all faiths within the school, but they don't talk about Jesus in the same way, and Jesus is taught as being just a special man rather than the Son of God, and I find that a bit convicting inside, and I think I'm leaving the profession, to tell the truth. I think this is going to be my last year in teaching. 20 years qualified, but I feel like I'm coming back home because my spirit kind of grieves on not being able to freely just teach about Jesus and to pray for kids. And it's either a Christian independent school that I'll work in next or just going to work about in business again. But I do miss that autonomy that we had and just knowing that I can just pour all of this stuff out on my kids and not have to worry about it. I love that. And I think the home education journey that I did for my kids wasn't just about academics. It was literally about everything I wanted. I was like the curriculum, you know what I mean? Like, it's all about my ideas as a mum. I was a curriculum. This is what I wanted my kids to learn. And then I talked to them a little bit about whether they liked it or not. And we can kind of tweak it. But I like that control. I loved praying with the kids, reading scripture with them and doing it through our AC curriculum that we did. Number 4 would be the home ed community. I miss you guys. I miss the home ed community. I had such a blast with them, being with like-minded people, and they weren't all Christians either, but being with like-minded people who also believe the same things that I believed in, running those home education groups that we ran, going to swimming groups and speaking to other people that we could connect with. The different classes out there, like going to like different classes, like science classes that we went to, and I had my own IEW class that I ran, and the children went to art classes. There was one that we went to in Canary Wharf where all the home educators came together and we went to Canary Wharf for debate classes. That was awesome. And then being I remember it was at one of the stations, I can't remember what the station's called, and then one of the children's friends were playing on the piano and then all the home ed kids were around like clapping and just singing her on. And it was in the middle of the day where kids should really be in school. But being a part of these families and having like our climbing trees with them and just being so different, you know, it was just really, really fun. Like, I really enjoyed like that. I think as a teacher as well, I'm really into education, as you all know already. I'm really into education. I'm really into like good quality education.
My mum is really interested in education, as the whole channel is about.
And just seeing the type of education that I was seeing within the community, within the home ed community, was just so different and so spot on. And knowing that it wasn't qualified teachers doing it, it was actually parents teaching their own children the way that it used to be in biblical times as well. Love that. And then I guess number 4 kind of leads me on to number 5, which is about being different and not following the crowd. I've always been someone that's been quite different anyway, not really following the crowd, but it's almost like being a bit rebellious to a point as well. I love that nature of like saying, okay, no, I don't want to do this, so I'm not going to do it. And that's why I feel so passionate about the fact of the schools bill that they want to bring out, where parents are going to have to be forced into, you know, putting the kids back into school. I grieve that. I'm thinking to myself that I would not have been able to handle that. And how would I have handled it if someone was telling me that I couldn't home educate my children? But I would say being different, not following the crowd, call me rebellious if you need to, but I love that we didn't follow the standard path. I love that we were free, that we were in control. I wasn't waiting on the school's approval to decide what was best for my children. I love that we could just be out at any time of the day and not have to worry about what people were saying. Well, I mean, my daughter's messaged me. Sorry, my daughter messaged me saying that the dog's out, there's crates in the house. But yeah, I love that. I love just being different. I love just being able to say that we did something different, a different path. That was quite awesome. So yeah, they're the 5 things that I miss about home education. Here's 5 things that I don't miss about home education. Number 1 would be constantly being asked about socialisation. My goodness. If I had £1 for every time we was asked that questions, I would have quite a bit of money now, maybe about £1,000 in my account at this point. But people always ask me, what about their friends? I feel like it was a loop that happened over 10 years of me home educating the kids. I even did two dramatic videos on this. You can check out this one and this one, where I kind of pretended to be like a different person. And I was like showing, like being asked a question over and over again. But people thought my kids were going to grow up in a bubble, and a lot of people were against it. I'd have like even as a teacher, I had a lot of parents who I tutor their kids. And they'd be like, oh, miss, you should put your kids back in school. I really don't think you should be home educating them. I was like, what is going on? Like, why do people feel like kids are going to be damaged just because they're home educated? I don't know. I can't speak for everybody else, but for myself, I just felt like, okay, it was weird. But now everyone's like, wow, like he did that. That's so amazing, whatever they say. But it's like, yeah, I was always being asked about socialization and, how the kid's going to manage in life and what's their life going to be like later on. And you are literally doing them a disservice by not allowing them to go to school long. Number 2, one thing I don't miss is planning all the subjects every single day and adapting the tasks for the children and the ICCE. That was stressful. Even though we had to go through that process, I still find the ICCE level, regardless of whether it was the ICCE or the IGCSEs, that whole level of education within year 10 and 11, it just ruined the whole experience for us, I'd say. I would just say, like, if we didn't go through a qualification path, I don't know what life would be like going through that path, and it's not me. We had to go through the qualification, but I feel like that's where the hindrance came. I think life until GCSEs or life until ICCE and home education was great, but I think when it became ICCEs and GCSEs, it felt almost like doing school at home. It felt like those years is called homeschooling. Prior to that, it was called home education, because after a while, it's like, no, we have to get this work done. You've got this many places to do. I was stressed out. The kids were stressed out. That was so horrible. I just feel like it just kind of stole the whole experience that we were having. That's what with my daughter, she was like, no, I need to get through this really quickly. That's why she decided to get through it really, really quickly in the end. But I think the planning of every subject and the GCSE stage, not as much fun. Number 3 will be financial pressure. Let's be real, home education isn't cheap. I know some people say that it is cheap and it can be cheap and you can do it for free. And I've obviously given videos on my account which shows how you can home educate for free. But for me, we didn't do it for free. It's literally, I paid for the paces for them, I paid for all their workbooks for them, I paid for that and lessons for their music and everything else like that, and so many other financial pressures. But I think the financial pressure of taking full responsibility for your children, trying to give them lots of opportunities, was quite tough. I don't really miss that. I think because you're home educating them as well, you try to give them probably more opportunities than you would have given them had they not been home educated. So if my kids were not home educated, I probably would just left them in the school and just did whatever the school had to offer, and maybe just did a few extra things outside of school. But I think trying to make sure that they had a really good education, probably spoiled in some ways as well. Not really, but it's like, because you're giving them a private education, you're doing the best that you can. They're not spoiled, but you're doing the best you can with what you had. But I think that was a lot of pressure, trying to keep up with it, trying to make sure I had enough money for their lessons. And it was just so stressful. That's using every single dollar that I had on the kids. I think I'm still in that mindset now, where I'm trying to move on from that and just recognise that, now is a different time. I've got to think about finances in a very, very different way, which I've got some other videos coming out about that. Number 4 would be the guilt and the pressure to do it all perfectly. I don't miss feeling guilty. I don't miss the stress and the worry that came with home educating the children. I don't miss the pressure of thinking, okay, if this doesn't work out, what's going to happen next? And just not necessarily knowing how it was going to work out. Now that we're at the end and I know that it was actually okay, and I know that I shouldn't have worried those times, when you're in the unknown, you do have that level of worry and that level of guilt. I say Pinterest, it lied to us. YouTube lied to us. You go on YouTube channels and there's all these mothers out there saying, okay, yeah, this year, here's our homeschool curriculum for 2021 and 2022, and we're going to be using this curriculum. And then you watch the videos again for the next year, they're like, okay, we've abolished that one over there now, and now we're going to be using this curriculum. Then you go to like halfway through the year, they've used another curriculum. And I think there's so much channels out there that just like using curriculum after curriculum after curriculum. I was like, how do they fit it all in? And I think many people feel the same way, where it's like, how do we teach all this? No wonder people have so much questions about it. But I don't miss the guilt and the pressure of trying to do it perfectly and not thinking that I've done enough, because now I know that I've done enough and it was actually fine. Some days we had a full schedule, other days we had toast and tears and documentaries, and it was okay. And I don't have that nagging feeling anymore. Am I doing enough? Like I said, I did enough. And then the final thing that I don't miss is wearing 15 hats at once. Now, I speak quite fast, as you probably can tell already. If I don't speak very quickly, I tend to stutter. So that's why my speaking does go quite quickly. I've been assessed for it, and there's all these different analogies they give me about why I speak so fast. And some people said, because I had asthma as a child, I suppressed my inhaler and then, say my words and then breathe in and then press on my inhaler again to make it happen. But everyone has issues. Everyone has their own thing. My thing that I have is that I do speak quite fast. I try my best to slow it down, but when my thoughts are flowing, I have to get the words out, otherwise they get stuck and they get lost, like what's happening right now, because I'm thinking about my speaking. But the point I was trying to say is that my 5th reason that I don't miss is wearing 15 hats at once. I was the teacher, I was the mum, I was the cook, I was the therapist, I was the cleaner, the personal shopper, the examiner, the school secretary, all before lunch. And yes, I sometimes let them have crisps for breakfast. I let them have crisps. Sorry. Sometimes I'd have like cake for breakfast, but yeah, we survived, we got through it. But wearing all those hats, it just made me feel absolutely crazy because I just felt like I was just literally trying my best to be this person to these children. And I don't miss that at all. I feel like, who was I? Like, I think towards the end, I got completely burnt out of the ICCE curriculum and the GCSEs and all of that. No. I'm very happy. So even though I have all these videos that say like, okay, what I missed and all this stuff here, I don't miss it. I loved it while I was in it, but I don't miss it and I don't want to go back to it. But if I had another child or I adopted a kid, I would go back to it at that point. But I'm very happy that it's over. Okay. And then they're my 10 reasons, but there were like bonuses things I was thinking about. I think about the LEA. Do I miss that? Why would I miss it? No, I don't miss the LEA contacting me and bothering my life, because like I said before, I felt like quite nice being a rebel, and then I guess the LEA letters will remind me that, oh, actually I'm still part of the system in some way and I've got to respond to this message in the way that I'm going to respond to it. But I don't miss the LEA visits, but I'm in the middle of that, because I do remember when we had the LEA visits, I loved like showing them and proving them wrong and knowing my rights and testing them so they knew their rights. So I don't miss LEA visits, but I didn't find it stressful at all. It was just like, yeah, come again if you need to, but yeah, these are my kids, you're not coming in my house. And I knew what I was saying about it, so that was fine. And then I guess the me time one, I was thinking about the me time one. No, that's fine as well. I did have me time. And I think one thing about the me time as well was that my kids were my excuse to have me times. If I didn't want to go, I was like, no, I can't, I'm teaching the kids, or I'm not lying because I actually was teaching the kids. It was like, okay, yeah, we're busy, so I can't go out. But now it's like, if people say they want me to go out, it's like, the only excuse I have now is that I work. But I'm going to be back home next year, so I'm not going to be working, so I'm going to have to like do a lot more socialisation. I think I'm unsocialised. Oh my gosh. Actually, no, I just had a radical reason. I think that, yeah, that's why I always have a big issue with socialisation. I feel like I've never really socialised like that. And I quite like to be on my own sometimes and just talking to you guys. But yeah, I'm going to have to socialise a bit more. So me time is a middle ground one. The kids were the perfect excuse for me to have my me time. But yeah, that's it. Let me know in the comment section down below if you're no longer home educating your kids, what's some things that you miss about home education and what's some things that you don't miss about home educating. And if you are still in the thick of it, let me know what things you think you might miss or what things you think you won't miss when you finish, if that makes any sense. And I look forward to seeing you all again on another video. God bless, bye.